Almost forgot the mic. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good day. Good day, sir, ma'am. Good day, sir, ma'am. I don't know. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for popping in or tuning in, however you're listening to Sports Shorts. I am Matt Mascarenas right here on E5280 Sports and Lifestyle. And we got I don't know if I guess an interesting show today. We're getting ready for training camp. Everybody's reported the way I understand it. Um, basically all the teams reported yesterday. Rookies have been there since last week. All the vets were there on Thursday. I don't know if some teams, if a training camp has officially begun. Some of them were still, I mean, they haven't officially started practice, but they've been doing something. So there's some stuff going on. But the biggest news that's been happening over the week has been the money in the contracts that have been put out. And we're going to get into all that today. But real quick, before I do, if you want to follow the show, if you want to follow me, you could do that on X, right? X, uh, aka Twitter at Matt Mascarenas. One, you can follow me there. If you want to follow Elevation 5280 Sports, you could do that at 5280 Sports Radio on X and 52 Sports Radio on Instagram, YouTube. We are also on YouTube right now. We are live on Twitter, X right now. I don't know if I'm just going to keep calling it Twitter or if I'm going to call it X at any point. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do that yet. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. But anyway, that's where you can find us all. And if you want to get down with more than just what we got going on right now here with Sports Shorts, make sure to go check out e5280sports.com, blogs, podcasts. There's so many things there to quench your sports and lifestyle thirst. I don't know what would quench my thirst right now more than a $304 million contract. Now, when you say NBA, when I say NBA and $304 million contract, what do you think of? Who do you think of? Let's go that route. Who do you think of? You thinking Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, maybe? Hell, maybe even Joel Embiid, Damian Lillard, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal. He's got a pretty big contract. There's several names that come to mind if you think of somebody that just got paid $304 million. Does anybody think of Jaylen freaking Brown with the Boston Celtics when they think of $304 million? Does anybody think of that? Because I don't. This dude, I'm not, look, I'm not going to say he's a bad player. I'm not. I'm not going to say he's not good. I'm not going to say he's one of the best players in the NBA. But is he a top 5 player in the NBA? I don't think so. I can think of 5 better players. I just named them. And I could. He's not even the best player on his team. So how in the hell does that dude again? The NBA is crazy. I know these contracts they even out or there's things that they did later on in the lifespan of the contract. I understand that. But right now, what does this say to the Boston Celtics or what does it say to everybody else in the NBA who I just came on here Monday on Sports Shorts and said something like you're not going to I don't think you're going to see the super teams anymore, blah blah blah. And this is another reason why, because I don't know if you can divvy up max contracts to multiple players with the new CBA that's coming around the corner, with all that new stuff that's coming around the corner. So when you think of that, $304 million to a guy that's not even the best player on your team? Does this hurt the Boston Celtics in the future? Does this make create any rifts? Does this keep them from acquiring other superstars maybe later on this year, or does this set them up to trade Jaylen Brown in the future? And what I mean by that is that there's teams that a contract like this is easier to trade for than it is to a sign and trade kind of situation. So this whole, I mean, $304 million. That's crazy. And he's not even the best player in the world. You would think this kind of contract goes to a Giannis, goes to a Nikola. That's what you might think of when you think of $304 million. I know it's the NBA, but it's Jaylen Brown. Is Jaylen Brown worth $304 million? I don't think so. It's crazy. This is crazy. You get what and what do the Celtics do now going forward? Going forward, what are the Celtics going to do now? When Jason Tatum, what's Jason Tatum's contract like? Let me look that up here real quick. Is he going to have to get paid? Richest in NBA history. And I mean, is this a last ditch effort for the Boston Celtics to make a run at it? And are they saying that we understand that if we don't get going or we don't win or something doesn't change where we're not playing in the NBA finals again and we're not winning in NBA finals, is that it with Jason Tatum? So we're gonna go with Jaylen Brown? It's crazy. It's crazy. They have a big three. They have a big three now, I guess. I of Kristaps Porzingis and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Like it's crazy. It's crazy. So that was huge. That was a big contract. Another shocking contract that I wasn't prepared for was the $11 million contract. Saquon Barkley, the William Wallace of the running back charge, who we thought was the William Wallace, and now it's looking like he's the oh gosh, what was the guy's name that double crossed uh William Wallace in the movie anyway? Robert Bruce. Is he more like Robert Bruce than William Wallace in the running back charge? They just come off a Zoom call. Now look, before I really go down this road, I always, from a fan of the football game, from a fan of sports, I always advocate for the players to get their bag, for the players to get their money. Always. I always will advocate for that. I always will bang the table for that. Always. But I do understand the perspective of a football team that doesn't want to invest money into a position that gets run down. What's the life expectancy of a running back in the NFL? I'm not talking about that they die and pass away. I'm talking about how long they last in the league playing the running back position. It's not very long. It's not. And how long are they successful? 2, 3 years, 2, 3 seasons? And especially one you're talking about that's coming off an ACL tear. Now, I know that an ACL tear does not mean what it used to mean 10, 15 years ago, hell, even 5 years ago. It's not the same thing. But it's still a big injury to a position that means so much to have good legs and good feet, a good lower body. It means so much for that to be all intact and to throw a big investment into a position that to a person that's already injured. I can understand from the team's point of view perspective not wanting to do that. I get it. I do get it. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. Saquon Barkley signs for $11 million. It's basically a million over from what he was going to play on that franchise tag. They add incentives to it. He's got to catch like 60 something receptions. He's got to have 1,300 yards. There's incentives that he's got to prove himself. Now, I thought the whole point for what he was doing was that he wanted to prove himself, that he already proved himself, that he's already proved his worth. But then he comes back and signs an incentive-laden deal that he's got to prove himself more to get more money. I don't know. I don't know what happened in that Zoom running back meeting. Austin Eckler, the way I understand it, was a part of that Zoom call. He plays on the same team that they just gave Justin Herbert a bunch of money, 5-year extension. From the LA Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers point of view, they had to do that. If you got to lock a guy like that up now, you have to do it. So from their point of view, I totally understand it. From my point of view, when I read that and I saw that, what has Justin Herbert done to make you want to do that? This is from my perspective now. He blew, what did he blow, a 27-point lead last season in the playoffs? This Charger team has not been good in the playoffs at all, even with Herbert. Was that a bad contract? Is that no, it's not from the team. It's not from the team's point of perspective. It's not. But from like a fan and the way I'm looking at it, especially being on the side of an AFC West opponent here being hometown team, the Denver Broncos, I don't root for the Chargers. I root against the Chargers. They're like the Cleveland Browns. They're a factory of sadness. They are a franchise of losers, choke artists. You can go down, and it hasn't changed. So when you see that, it's like, damn. And then that you start, let's look at it here from the let's I just mentioned the Denver Broncos, and we're talking about these big contracts. The Broncos are going to have to pay Patrick Surtain some money here in a couple seasons. You saw Diggs from the Cowboys. Trayvon Diggs just get a big contract. That you're going to look at Patrick Surtain here in a couple seasons. And he's, prayers and everything, the good vibes that he stays healthy. You're going to have to pay that dude some coin. Is he worth it? Is he going to be? We're going to have the same conversation a couple years down the road, and that's why I love the is he worth it at the position. And right now, the biggest positions to where you're going to look at and say they are worth it. It's a quarterback position and it's the offensive line for position. Look at the New York Giants. They give Saquon Barkley, they franchise tag him. They give him $11 million with an incentive-laden contract. They go out and they sign their left tackle for 5 years. I'm pulling it up right now. I just had it here. See what happens? I just had it. It was a big 5-year contract, and it came just after Andrew Thomas, $117 million. Hey, we don't have any money to pay you, Saquon. We're going to give you this deal for a year at $11 million, and you still got to prove it to us to make more money. But we're going to give the guy, Andrew Thomas, nobody thought was going to do anything. He was looked at as being a bust. $67 million in guarantees. 5-year extension. That's crazy. And that shows you what these positions, especially in the NFL, are worth. The quarterback position in the offensive line position, especially the left tackle position. And if your name's not Christian McCaffrey, which you can look at the Christian McCaffrey contract and be like, why did he get paid all that money? That dude's hurt all the time. That dude's always injured. That dude spent most of his career in Carolina injured. He's got a decent little contract. Is he going to get another one? Depends on what he looks like this year, if he can be healthy. It's just so incredibly tough to pay those dependent positions. I don't know if you would say that the running back position's a dependent position. You could. I don't think it is, because there's times that do you need an offensive line to be good? Yeah, I believe you do. But at the same time, as a running back, if you're really good, if you're one of those running backs, you can make up for a porous offensive line, a bad offensive line. But I don't think you're as important, or I don't think the makeup or the because you look at Peyton Manning is the greatest example of making an offensive line that's not very good even better because of the way his decision making, the way he gets rid of the football. As a running back, you almost need that offensive line to give you a little crease. You almost need that offensive line to give you a little bit of time to get to the second level, to get to the running back or the linebackers and the DBs. Hell, you might even need one of those offensive linemen to go out and get one of those running or linebackers or one of those DBs. But it's very, very, very true. It's very, very obvious, I should say, that the most important position, the position that's going to get paid the most, and I know there's examples outside of this, but the position that's going to get the most looks, the most payment, the most the years, the investment is offensive line and quarterback. That's just the way it's going to go. That's just the way it is. I don't know what the running back summit is going to do besides just give those guys some time to vent and to talk and to get it all out in the air, because coming out of it, Saquon Barkley signs a dumb deal. Just a dumb deal. It just did not make any sense after everything that he has done and everything that he's talked about and said and put himself out there, and then he signs that deal. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But I don't know what you're gonna do with the running backs going from here, because the running back position, and I'm not gonna say you could just plug and play guys, because there are special guys. I think Saquon's one of those special guys. But there's a lot of rookies that come out every season and blow out and go crazy. There are a lot of rookies that come out and go crazy, and that have a 1, 2, 3 year span, maybe where they're really good, and then they end up on another team. And you look at the running backs that, like, and then again, like, if there's the Saquon Barkley run for 2,000 yards, who's the last guy to run for 2,000 yards, and did he get paid? Like, when do you look at a running back and say that guy deserves to get paid? Is it after they run for 2,000 yards? And essentially, after they run for 2,000 yards, the miles are up, the miles are high. Like, you look at the running back position in the NFL, like you look at a Kia car. When you run that thing to the ground, or you put so many miles on it, you're not going to go resell it. You're not going to get a good trade-in value. I don't think the running back positions that considered to be like the Toyotas. The running back position is not the Toyota of the NFL, to where you can put 300,000 miles on a Toyota Tacoma, on a Toyota Corolla, on a Camry. Pick a Toyota. I mean, I'm sure there's a Toyota car that's crap, but I haven't really seen one or heard of one. You can go put so many miles on it, redo the transmission. I don't know, all kinds of things to it, and then go resell it and still make $15,000 on it. That's just Toyota. I don't think the running backs are looked at as the Toyotas of the NFL position group when it comes to investing. They're more like the Kia. They don't hold their resale value. And your dealership's not going to want to give you much on a trade in. They're going to look at it and say, I don't know what I could do with that. I mean, even if it's tricked out with all the, wheels, tires, uh, maybe you got some, I don't know, a nice stereo system in there. They're just going to give you what they don't want anything to do with it. The running back position is the same way. That's the way it's looked at in the NFL. It's a tough position. And you just, the special guys aren't, I don't know if they're out there. Because I here's the thing. I think Christian McCaffrey's one of those special guys. And before the knee injury, before that catastrophic injury, you could say Saquon was one of those special guys. I don't know if you could say that now. I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy that the money that got out there, it's crazy that investments to the certain position groups that the NFL is going down, the road that they're going down, it's crazy. It's crazy. But moving on, we'll stay right there in the NFL as yesterday, I am not a fan. I am not a fan. I am not one that has ever really been a fan of uniforms. And this year, the past couple seasons in particular, even there's especially on X, aka Twitter, there's a lot of uniform nerds out there. And it drives me crazy that these people are getting this excited. And on one hand, I understand it. This Broncos football team has been garbage for the past 5-6 seasons. It hasn't done anything. So if these guys are going to jump on and be excited about a uniform change, then okay, they got nothing else. There's nothing else for them to be excited about. But for a while there, it was the talk. And then I see now people just critiquing it, going over it and saying, "Oh, that looks smooth. Oh, that looks icy. That looks gorgeous." And all they've done was come out with a new helmet, and they're not even going to wear this helmet. They're not even going to wear this helmet. This one right here. They're not even going to wear that with their uniforms. This is for the way I understand it now. I could be totally wrong. I didn't really read into it because I could care less what the freaking helmet they have on or what uniform they have on. If they look like crap on the field, I could care less what they're wearing. So that's the way I look at it. If you're just going to wear this for a color rush or when you wear the other white uniforms, who cares? Who cares? And there's just whatever. I just don't understand it. I don't understand all the hoopla. I don't understand everybody getting so excited for a piece of clothing. This isn't high school. Because I could understand a youth organization or a high school program, even college, like, oh man, that third uni's sick. Oh man, that looks badass. We're gonna come out there. It's homecoming night. We got a rivalry night. We're gonna black out. We're gonna black out our uniforms. Hell, I get it. I get that. They're kids. That's part of it. In my opinion, I don't think I don't think that this is something that is all it is to sell more crap. All it is to sell more jerseys, sell more apparel, that's all it is to me. Because this, I guarantee you, is not going to help you on the football field. That color mixed with a sick looking uni, bro, a sick line coming down the pants, man. That's not going to help you win football games. You're going to look like an asshole when you're losing. That's what that's going to do. I could care less. I could care less about the uniforms. That's just me. That's just me. I mean, a lot of people probably disagree with me, but I could care less. Now, we'll stay with the Broncos. Local show. They get started here Friday, I believe. They really get going with everything. Now, I've these past couple days, because we are getting into that season, because we are, I pay attention a little bit more. I start to follow people on X, on any social media, whatever I can follow it on, or whoever I could follow. I try to listen more. I try to listen more podcasts just to try to get some information. But I could care less about the Madden ratings because that's all that's been on these past couple weeks. I could care less about, and I mean, I think this is what this time of year always brings for us. Is it brings people that go off of what they've seen in the past. This is and I've said this on Monday, and I think I've even said it on on Wheelhouse on Sunday. Me and Michael Spillen's show from 8 a.m. till about 9:30. Depends on, usually to 10. We'll go 2 hours Sunday, the best Sunday morning sports show in the world. I've said it there too. This is going to be a different Broncos training camp. This is going to be a different Broncos season. I don't think you might see similar things, but it might be more similar to Vic Fangio's training camp, but it might be even more structured, even more uh, tight-lipped, I guess, than what we've seen in the past. I think what you're going to see is you're going to see you're going to see more special situations. You're going to see more of things that matter when it comes to getting prepared for the season. I don't think you're going to see a lot of guys get rest that need to get rest, or that need to get reps in. I think you're going to see those guys get reps, aka meaning Russell Wilson. The biggest there's a lot of question marks, and again, like I said, when I dig into this stuff and I try to watch and I try to gather information to see where this team is from those that are plugged in, I run into a lot of who's going to be the third offensive lineman. Who's going to come off the bench if we need if this team is down a nickel cornerback? Who's going to play special teams? You can't have this guy play special teams. You can't have that guy play special teams. The offensive line depth concerns me. I just don't get with all that until we see what the hell we're working with on the field. Because a lot of that stuff's going to get worked out. A lot of that stuff's going to be not. I would be even there's probably even players here that aren't even going to start in the positions that they are in right now. There's probably other guys, and I'm talking offensive line, defensive line, that are going to get picked up, snatched up because they become camp casualties. There's vets that are going to be released early in the seasons that can catch on some other players that are good vets. Teams like the Broncos with this new front, I wouldn't say front, coaching staff, are going to be looking for guys like that. And they're just rolling with the people that are here now until we get these guys in here, until other guys become available, or they could become available. Lloyd Cushenberry, for me, in my opinion, for me, Lloyd Cushenberry can be a huge surprise this season. And I think he's going to excel in this Sean Payton offense. I think he's going to excel with Sean Payton. And there's a lot of people that have question marks about him. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do with it. I don't know. I don't have any confidence. He's here still. If this coaching staff, if these guys didn't have any confidence in him, if these guys didn't think he could play, he'd be gone. He'd be out of here. Or they would have definitely invested more into that position. Did they draft somebody that could come in? Sure. But I think a lot of the draft picks they got are guys that could come in and swing. Because if you think that a team is going to structure their offensive line depth and look at it like, okay, this guy's a center, he's going to back up center. This guy's a guard, he's going to back up left guard. This guy's a right guard, he's going to back up right guard. This guy's a left tackle, he's going to back up left tackle. This guy's a right tackle. And they have 5 guys ready to go in for. You're out of your freaking mind. That doesn't happen. There's 3 guys to 4 guys at the most that can alternate and swing all these positions. So you're not going to get a guy for each position. You're going to get a guy that can swing and play multiple positions on the line. You may have one guy that is that guy that, he comes in for this guy at the right tackle position. He comes out. You might have that. But for the most part, there's going to be 3 guys at the most that can play all those positions. Might even be more, because this team might want to hold more DBs, linebackers, for special teams. That's just simple roster building in the NFL. That's just simple mindset on how to add players and have your roster built. Because you got it. Who's going to play special teams? You're going to run out 5 linemen out there to play special teams? It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. And on the punts, you don't have legit linemen on the punts in most situations. You have guys that are going to go down there and kill the punt. So just understand that when you're coming at, I don't like the offensive line depth, I'm concerned. What do you want? You want a guy for every position on the offensive line? Ain't going to happen. Ain't going to happen. This year, this training camp and everything that you're going to see is going to be a lot different than years past. And the media, they better not piss off this guy, because you're not going to get anything from him. Sean Payton I love the type of coach he is. I'm not a media person. I could care less if there's a lot of people that are upset and whiny about, okay, well then if you're not going to give us anything to talk about, then we're just not going to talk about your team. I can understand that from their perspective, because it's their job to talk about the Denver Broncos. It's their job to talk about the dumb BS that happens on the football field or doesn't happen on the football field, that happens in the locker room. The dumbass coach dancing on the field, they can't talk about that this year because it's not happening. I get it from their perspective, but from my perspective, I absolutely love it. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. I'm watching it happen. I'm going to watch what it looks like in preseason football games, because you're going to see a lot in preseason football games on where this team is at. Just like you saw last year in preseason football games. You're telling me that game you watched in Buffalo when the Broncos got their ass kicked, that wasn't an indication on what's going to happen in the season, that you're going to look at that game and say, that's just preseason, blah, blah, blah. No. There were so many red flags in that game. And the biggest red flag was the dumbass coach coming out and saying, I'm sorry. That was embarrassing. I don't know why I'm sounding like Elmer Fudd. Hackett doesn't sound like Elmer Fudd. There were so many red flags during the preseason last year. I don't think you're going to see that this year. It's different. It's different. Pardon me. And I can't wait to see it. It's going to be fun. But that's going to do it today for me. Sports Shorts here on E5280 Sports and Lifestyle. Shorter shorts today. I will be back Friday, where I will get a sneak peek. I'm going to try to do a little bit more research on these camps, and I'm going to try to have a list of, remember, I know I said we're all reaction, no research, but I'm going to try to do a little bit of research so I can have some reaction on these camps and get you some storylines, the biggest storylines from these camps coming down the pipe. And on Friday, I will talk more. I will get into the quarterback documentary that is on Netflix. Have you watched it? I am a couple episodes in. I will talk more about that on Friday. But don't forget, tonight, we're back, baby. The Stranglehold, right here at 8 p.m., right after AEW Dynamite. If you love wrestling, if you like sports entertainment, it's a great show. Come in, talk. That's a show that I encourage more interaction in. Probably get more. Just tell me I love talking wrestling. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. It's fun. because it doesn't matter. Anyway, check that out tonight, 8 p.m. And don't forget to go check out our website, E5280 Sports, sportsandlifestyle.com. Check that out. We got all kinds of stuff going there, dropping every single day. Don't be scared. Go check it out. But that's going to do it for me. I'm going to leave you right here with this disgusting monstrosity that everybody loves while I get out of here. Have a good day. Relax. Enjoy it. And do your best to try to go get that Jaylen Brown money. You don't necessarily have to be good. Be not very smart when it comes to IQ on the basketball court. And that's why I said not very good, because he's not a very smart basketball player, but you can make $304 million. Holy smokes. Or you could do what Saquon Barkley did, and you can be like, hey, I'm going to go over here and cry and be upset. Not cry. Cry's a bad word. I'm going to go up here and be upset about my contract. Oh, here we go. D-Book. What up, dude? How you doing? I'm getting out of here. Come find me. You can find me on Friday. Come find me on Friday or tonight, whatever it is. But thanks for popping in. But that's going to do it for today's show. I'm out. Matt Mascarena, Sports Shorts. Good night now.